into court on the brother. So that was they said that was their motive. So it started out all screwed up to begin with because they had to start trying to figure out how they could do the lies to get a conviction in Sevier County so they could go over to Blount County and ask for the death penalty. And it just sounds screwy, but it's exactly how it happened.
Right. And there's just, from everything you've told me, there's just so many things that don't add up. One of the main things is those shotgun shells, the holes,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Look, I grew up on a farm. I grew up hunting and fishing and everything. And that doesn't happen like that. The shells don't land lined up like that.
They don't. And that was, I remember when we were in court, and we're trying to get these pictures now, but of course, you know, it's been 30-something years and we can't find them. But when we were in court, they had these pictures blown up. They had the picture where Tommy is the guy that was killed. They had the picture of him at the scene. And then they did a search warrant at Gary's uncle's house. And then 3 days later, they went back to the scene of the crime, and there was those shotgun shells side by side. So yep. they had these pictures blown up, and they were trying to say, here, these are the exact same place. Here's where the body was there, and here you are. You went back when the body wasn't there. Exact same place. The shells or what the holes are not here in the picture where the body was, but they were in the picture where the body was not after they had went back.
Right.
Side by side. Laying side by side.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. I mean, I guess it could, but the chances are
it's a big chance.
Yeah.
And you got to realize too, it was down a bank. So I don't think that even I don't know. It just doesn't happen. And we've tried it. We've done it time and time again, and there's nobody that it's landed side by side.
Yeah, you know, I had a friend of mine, he's in Virginia, and of course I'm not allowed firearms, you know, I can only use muzzle loaders because I'm on parole and everything. And I asked him if he would go out and try that. He told me before he went out, he goes, the chances of that happening, he goes, it's never happened. Right. But he went out and he tried it. He tried it on level ground. He tried it on a hill. He tried it in different areas. It didn't work out.
Yeah. So that's one of the big things. The very first thing too that happened is they kept saying that they had 3 witnesses that could put them on the scene of the crime. So we got these 3 witnesses, and they're even today they're coming in and saying that didn't happen. That's not what they said. They said they had a lady that the first witness we had, she said that she saw a Bronco first, a white Bronco. Then she said it was a white Blazer. But then a couple of days later, after she thought about it, it was a white truck with motor tires and a toolbox on the back of it. Well, that's the closest that they could get her to get to the vehicle that they thought they were in. But this truck, motor tires, what do you think motor tires are? I think of big tires. But this truck had factory tires on it. There's no motor tires. And then where Connie's car was found is another factor. And I don't think that I've talked about this much because I've been reading through these transcripts again and remember it. They did tire tracks where she was found. They did the tire tracks. Those tire tracks did not match any of the vehicles that Gary or his uncle drove. They had beer cans and stuff that had fingerprints on it. They never would tell us who the fingerprints was, but it wasn't theirs. So that's that part of it. And then you have the medical examiner. So, I mean, there's just so much in this, and it doesn't take a genius to read this and look at it and see all the wrong that they did. Not in one county, but 2 counties.
Right. And so that woman, unless I'm getting mixed up with some another case, that woman, didn't she come forward and said she was wrong on all this?
She came forward and said that they took her words and twisted her words. And she said that the only time that she saw the truck was when they showed it to her on the road back at the courthouse before she went in and testified. And then she said they gave her a board that had all these trucks on it, and that's the only one that she could identify because she had just saw it.
Right. Hey, I got to answer a question here. First of all, hello, Raymond. Hello, Actions. Actions is asking who the guest is. The guest is Caroline. You might have seen her on my channel before, but or maybe even her channel. But we're trying to get the governor and stuff to look into Gary's case, Gary Wayne Sutton, because we believe, I actually know he's innocent. I mean, in my heart and everything I've read, I know he's innocent. I mean, things just are just not adding up. But they won't look at it. There's just so many inconsistencies and everything, like she was just talking about. But and this guy has capital punishment, and we need to get him out. But, do what?
It's coming a storm. I just want to make sure you can still hear me.
Well, I can still hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we had that storm this morning, but
Thanks.
But anyway, before we got in, I guess we ended up getting into it. But I was going to say this is kind of a prelude to the interviews we're going to be doing, but so we can kind of know where we're going to be at and everything. But we ended up kind of getting into it anyway, didn't we?
Yeah, because it's just like people, when you just say, okay, this guy's on death row for something he didn't do, people are like, oh yeah, right, sure, he didn't do it. He's on death row. He had to have done something. They had to have had some kind of evidence. They didn't. And even the night that this all happened, I was with him. So I know it didn't happen.
Well, Caroline, before we started talking about this, you know, I guess a couple of years ago, or 3 years ago, I didn't even know you. I didn't even know who Gary Wayne Sutton was. And so when I started finding out about him, you started talking about him and everything, and I knew immediately that he was innocent. And I don't say that unless I think it's true. And if I thought he was guilty, I would either not say anything or I'd tell you that I thought he was guilty. But I think he's innocent.
Well, there's a lot of people that have went to meet him, and they're skeptical before they go. But when they come out of that prison after they see him, they're like, he's innocent. There is no way that this man did what he's been accused of.
No. I just don't see it, you know. And think about this, people. Gary being innocent, that means there's somebody roaming free that's not innocent.
Right.
You know.
we pretty much think we know who done it, because you know when what happened is, so can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, what happened is I was dating Gary back at that time. I was with Gary through the trials. I stayed with him like 5 years after he went to prison, and then I just went my own way. I had to go my own way. I had my kids. I needed to do what needed to be done. So 26 years later, I seen on the news that he had an execution date, and I was like, there's no way. They can't be doing this. I have got to do something. I've been back involved in this 150 50% the last 5 years. In these 5 years, I have got transcripts. I mean, everything I say, I can back it up. It happened. I have done press conferences. So when I come up, and I didn't want to talk to anybody in the state of Tennessee because I just didn't trust anybody. So I had talked to a lawyer that was out of Florida, and she told me, she said, the only thing that can happen at this point is new evidence. So I hired Heather, a private investigator, and she came in, and she'll tell you to this day, she goes, I wish I could tell you that I was the best investigator in the United States. She said, but all I had to do was go knock on doors. She talked to jurors that didn't think he was guilty, but they were persuaded and were told that they had to sign the death penalty. They were coerced, yes. So we had jurors that she just went knock on their doors, and I have affidavits from them. I have recordings from what they were saying, that they didn't believe that Gary was guilty. And then she went and talked to all these witnesses. So the three main witnesses, they're like, no, that's not really what we saw. That's not how it happened, but that's what they made their words. So we've got all this. So then I went to the Capitol for like 3 days. I made a packet up and put the highlights of everything on it, and went to the state Capitol. So I have some senators and some reps, and every one of them that were like, oh, we would like to help, but we don't have any pull. There's nothing that we can do. So but they did do the courtesy, and they sent me the emails. They did send the governor emails, and they don't want to do anything until he gets an execution date. Well, that's a clemency. I don't want to wait on a clemency, because I'm sorry, but the governor doesn't pay attention to a clemency.
And they can take 2 or 3 years anyway. But
yeah, and so like, I have been working on this for 5 years now. I have begged the governor on national TV, local TV. I've went to that Capitol. I've done press conferences, and I just can't get him. He just won't listen.
Well, I want to say something to the audience right now. This is not just a little short story. This is a Gary Wayne Sutton story, and if it's all right with Caroline, and it's all right with what we got going on in our lives, we're going to try to do this every Wednesday until we can get this story out, because people need to hear this. So we're planning on every Wednesday. Does that sound good to you, Caroline?
That's good. That sounds good. I won't forget this time.
There may be things that come up, where we miss a Wednesday or something, but either way, we're going to try to do it every Wednesday or every week until we get his story out there. Because just think, if you or somebody you love was sitting with capital punishment, not just imprisonment, with capital punishment over 30 years, and you're innocent, well, you'd want somebody fighting for you, and there's only so much that we can do, and except be a voice, and try to get people to listen. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm just wanting to try to get his story out there. If I thought he was guilty, I wouldn't be doing this. That's just the way it is. But do what?
Yeah, and I've said it time and time again. If somebody can come to me and show me that they have the evidence and they have the proof that he did this, then I'll shut up. But they can't. And what people need to understand, this is a fully circumstantial evidence. There was no direct evidence. There was no DNA. There was really no eyewitnesses. There was nothing that could tie Gary to it.
And but they still did. There's so many things wrong, like the shotgun shells laying next to one another. The woman that kept giving different descriptions of the vehicle. She couldn't get it right, and I was told to pick this one. All kinds of things, It's on my desk. On your desk. I'm on the line.
Even the woman that gave them, she was supposed to be their eyewitness. when they went and did a motion hearing, her foster son came and said, I had to come because this has bothered me. She did not see anything. And he drew a map, and I have that map. He drew a map of where she was and where she was supposed to see them. There is no way she could have saw anything where it all was laid out. So we even have that. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Action says he's wanting to know, so how did they find him guilty? No DNA, no witness, no case. And normally that would be the case, you know? But when you're planting evidence and you're moving things around and having people lie and stuff, witnesses lie, I think the main thing was the witness.
It was the witnesses, and it was the medical examiner, which that can be a whole thing in itself. If anybody wants to look up Charles Harlan, medical examiner, that's all you got to know about that.
Right. But we're going to, and please tell him, you know, give him my regards when you talk to him again, you know, and that we're trying, you know.
I will. And he appreciates everything that everybody does. He does. And the thing with Gary, what people need to know, he has maintained his innocence for all these years, and he has not got not one piece of trouble has he got in since he's been in there. And honestly, I don't know how I could handle it. I couldn't handle it the way he had.
See, at least, even though I went to prison for defending my brother, protecting my brother, I went to prison for something I did. I know a guy in Missouri prison that is innocent too. At least I believe he's innocent. There's no way I could do that. There's no way I could just sit there, you know.
Yeah. But people's got to realize too, these guys are behind these walls. They don't have a voice, so it's up to everybody else to try to help, because they can't do anything.
His name's Gary Sutton Jr., right?
No, just Gary Wayne Sutton.
Actions, it's just Gary Wayne Sutton.
I have a thing. It's called Justice for Gary Wayne Sutton. If he wants to go to that, and then
he said he's going to look into Justice for Gary Wayne Sutton, and you can just Google his name and it'll come up too.
Yeah, everything will come up, but people need to keep in mind, if you go to his appeal and you read his appeal, you're going to think he's guilty right away, because another thing is he had public defenders. Public defenders is only going to defend you as far as they can, because they have to work together. So his public defender, and he finally within this last month, they finally let him get rid of her, and we have a new team on it. But it took him that long because she fought that hard not to be put off his case.
Yeah, you know, when I was arrested, my parents, they hired a lawyer, but he was a civil suits lawyer that had just turned criminal lawyer. So I was his first criminal case. You know, that I don't think he knew really what he was doing. But
right.
Yeah, public defenders, I've always heard bad things about public defenders.
They don't want to go against each other. That's for sure. Because even Gary, Gary has to reel me in sometimes, and he has to say, you have to look at it this way. If you're a public defender and that's your livelihood, that's how you live, what are you going to do? Are you going to go against people that pay are you going to go against the people that write your paycheck? Or are you going to go out on a limb and you're going to find this person that you're defending innocent? Or are you going to go against the people that you work for?
Like Actions just said, he says, I call them public pretenders.
That's correct. That's about correct.
That's good. I'm going to have to remember that.
Yeah, but we do finally have a new team, and they're from out of Alabama. So we've got our fingers crossed that because they're not from Tennessee, that they don't care to come in here and piss these people off. Right. Because it's going to take a lot, because the roots into all this good old boy system here in the Smoky Mountains, it's deep, and there's a lot way more down into it. then they weren't brought out. But I just want Gary to come home. I want
Right.
them to see. I want Governor Lee to understand, because I know if he would just sit down with us and see what we have and look at this, if the man is the man he says he is, he's gonna see. He's gonna say, "Let him home now," because there's
Right.
no way he should have ever been convicted.
But he
Um,
refuses to even look at it, right? Am I
he
not?
won't. He wants to wait. Okay, first of all, so the state of Tennessee had to stay on executions. Thank God, because Gary did have an execution date then. Then their protocol, something happened with their protocol. I think their medicine was expired, but that's just my opinion. So then they had a stay of execution. So that gave us time to start working on stuff. And that's when I went full force to the governor. I was like, hey, he's got to listen. So when the executions came back out, thankfully, Gary did not have one. But he could have one anytime, because state of Tennessee, we have they had the first execution here 3 months ago. We have another execution coming up August the 5th.
Wow.
And it's just,
It's a
but
matter of time.
so yeah, so what the governor said when one of the reporters that reports Gary stuff called him at a press conference and said, "What about Gary Wayne Sutton?" He goes, "I am not," and this is what he says. I have it. It's on the news thing. He said, "I'm not going to look at any death row inmates' cases until the protocol is put back in place." Okay, so we did what we had to do and everything. The protocol's back in place. So now his excuse is, I'm not going to listen to any death row inmate's case until they have an execution date. So he's just putting it off, because the first time he said until the protocol was back in place. The protocol's back in
And now,
place.
now he's basically saying until they're executed.
Yeah, and so he's thinking, well, when the clemency, I'm telling you right now, they hate it when I call the governor's office, because I do. And the secretary, he goes, "You've misunderstood." I said, no, I've not misunderstood anything. I said, I want a meeting. I am his constituent, and I have a right to have a meeting with him. I still can't get that meeting. And I've had senators and representatives to ask for that meeting as well. We still can't get that meeting with him.
Actions. He's capital punishment. He's on death row, and it's been what, since 96 or 95, something like that.
96. He's been on death row since 96.
96 actions.
He got arrested in 92, and that's where it starts getting confused. He got arrested in 92. They kept him in the county jail for a year. Then we went to trial for the second murder, because they said, you got to realize it's a brother and a sister. Tommy was killed first, then Connie, but they waited, and then they went to trial on Connie. And the reason they said the motive for her was because they killed Tommy. Okay, we haven't even been to trial for Tommy. They
Right.
haven't even been nothing on Tommy. So Sevier County takes them to trial, and they get the conviction, and that's a whole thing. They've even sold transcripts that we're trying to get right now. We can't get a hold of. But thankfully, that back in the day, they did get some of the transcripts right away. So we have two sets of transcripts, the real ones and the ones that they stole transcripts out of. And I mean, this is crazy. I know people are like, yeah, right. She doesn't know. She's making this up. I can't make this up.
She can't make
And
this up.
so
She's got all the paperwork, all
I've
of it.
got it. And so when they went to Sevier County, so they did not ask for the death penalty in Sevier County. He got life. He got life in Sevier County. So that took him up to the prison for 4 years. So this is 5 years altogether. Then they go to trial in Blount County. It took them 5 years to get their lies and all this stuff together and covered up. Then we went to court. So both court dates, we thought we were going to have an acquittal. We asked for acquittal, but we didn't get that because, again, the good old boy system.
Right.
But so the lawyers, and the lawyers asked to be taken off the case because they had never tried a capital case like this, especially one that's asking for the death penalty, and they told them no, that they were going to try this case. So, I mean, your lawyers even asked to be taken off of it, and they wouldn't let them off of it. So that was one big thing there in Blount County. But they had nothing that proved that they did anything in Blount County until they brought Charles Harlan in at the last minute. So, if you also, I've got on YouTube, 2020 back in 2010, did a news segment on Charles Harlan and how they also, the people that he had wrongfully helped convict. Gary is on that, and you can't find that segment anywhere. The only reason that I have it is because we recorded it when it came on TV back in 2010. So I have snips of that. I've got it in parts because, on YouTube you can only do so much.
Yeah,
so there's 8 parts of that 2020. If anybody wants to go, just on YouTube, get Justice for Gary Wayne Sutton, and it'll come up if you want to watch the 2020 episode. Charles Harlan lost his license, and apparently, we didn't know at the time, but when he was doing Gary's trial, he was under investigation.
Yeah, I suggest that everybody go check out Justice for Gary Wayne Sutton and look at those clips and the videos that she's done and actions. Yeah, if he's guilty beyond a reason of doubt, he's talking about somebody that he knew. That is different because that's one thing if we're guilty beyond a reason of doubt. But Gary Wayne Sutton, he's not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, except for them saying he was. They basically forced.
Right.
They basically forced the jury to convict him and this and that. And we know how that works nowadays. We've seen it publicly. You will find this person guilty.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if somebody can prove to me that he's guilty, then I'll shut up, but he's not. And I say he's not either too, because I was with him that night. And that's the thing that I don't understand either. So they made up the timeline and stuff, but yet he was with me, but whatever I said, they were like, "Oh, you're his girlfriend, you'll say anything." I was with him that weekend. Why didn't they take me to jail? Because they know that there was nothing. They even tried, when they took me in for questioning, they threatened me with my kids and told me that they could take my kids away from me if I didn't tell them what they wanted to know. I couldn't tell them what they wanted to know because that's not how it happened. So I of course, was out toward it. I mean, people's got to understand, I was 24, he was 26. So we were still young. So they scared me to death. I was thinking they're going to take my kids and I can't tell them what they want to know because that's not what happened. So
that's one of their tactics is when they get you in, whether you're guilty or innocent, it doesn't matter. That's one of their tactics is to scare you.
Well, they scared me so bad that I signed my rights over to my kids, to my brother, and to my mom and dad. So when I went back and they tried to threaten me with that, and I just told them, I said, "Well, you can, but I don't have custody of my kids." They were pissed.
Yeah, they was mad because they didn't have nothing to get you with. Actually, he's talking about this guy that is on death row, and he used a meat tenderizer to delete these people. Man, that's horrible. I'm sorry. I hope. Well, he's where he's supposed to be. Actually, 4 people, and you said I think you said you knew him. That's just horrible.
That is horrible.
Yeah, but so he's where he's supposed to be. But Gary, on the other hand, we need to get him out. And time's running out on him, if you ask me. But I wanted to comment on something. You said earlier that he's always maintained he's innocent. The guy that I know in Missouri prison that's innocent, I've been his cellie for years. And one thing I can tell you is not only did he always maintain he's innocent, his story never changed.
Exactly.
It was always the same. You know.
Those are the ones that you know is
Yeah.
innocent. There's more people in prison right now that's innocent than not. And
Yeah.
that is a statistic. That is proven. That's been proven. But
There's
these
more than
guys,
people realize. There's a
right,
lot more
but
than people realize. But
right,
even one is one too many.
right. So, and what people's got to realize too, this was back in the day. We didn't have internet.
None
We
of that.
didn't,
Social
it
media,
just
none of
didn't,
that.
it didn't come to light. So this is back in the time that if you look back into it, there's a lot of cases back in the late 80s, early 90s that people have got out because they were wrongfully convicted.
Right.
And two, I say this too because I've been going to the prison and stuff, and I am in visitation and get to know these guys, and I'm just going to tell you, you can tell which ones has the evil rolling off of them, and you know that they absolutely did do it. But then you can also be around the ones that you're like, there's no way, and
Yeah.
there's quite a few of them in there, and then. I go and I look at their cases, and you can't find anything that proved that they should be there.
Right. Well, people say, well, everybody in prison claims they're innocent. No, that's not true.
No,
Everybody in jail claims they're innocent because they're going to trial and they just don't want to admit that they're guilty. But after
right.
they're in prison, if they're guilty, they'll say they're guilty. They talk to other people about things they've done and stuff. The ones who are innocent, they don't talk like that. You know,
That's right. That's right.
they keep to themselves, or they work on their case, or whatever. You know.
And that's like Gary. He keeps to himself, and maybe I can show you on here one night. He does woodwork. He does leather work. He does it day and night, day in, day out. He has his routine. He gets up in the morning. He gets ready for what he calls work. He goes and he does that all day. He comes back in the afternoon. He gets ready for, his night, and he gets ready for the next day. So he's kept his routine. So when he was out of here, when he worked, he keeps that routine. And when he gets out of that routine, it's like he gets anxious and stuff. But saying that, I've got these guards when I go in, the ones that's been there for so long, they'll tell me, they're like, he's a hard worker. He's a hard worker. And I'm like, well, he was, and he always has been. And he doesn't get in any trouble. He doesn't get in people's business. He just tries, he does what he has to do to get by day by day.
Hey, Carolyn, a question for you. Fishing Junkie wants to know if there's a petition to sign for Gary.
Yes, it is on justiceforgarywaynesutton.com. It's his website as well. There is a petition on there, and it runs down a few things. It's there's one on change.org as well. But the one on
That's
yeah,
the one I got from my friend in prison too. Change.org.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's it as
Fishing
well.
Junkie, change.org or justiceforgarywaynesutton.com. And if you go and sign that, I really appreciate it, and I know Caroline would too.
Absolutely. And Gary appreciates everything that anybody does for him. So maybe we can figure it out one night how to maybe get him on the phone, and you can talk to him as well. We've done it
Oh yeah,
once.
that'd be great.
It was a little tricky because I had to use my phone and he had to call on somebody else's phone, and we kind of put them together. It
Right.
worked. So we can do that.
Hey, Actions, you don't have to apologize for your little story. In fact, I want to hear more about that story sometime or another. But do they have tablets in Tennessee?
They just got them.
Oh,
They've
did they
had them.
good?
They've had them for the last 3 months, and he's kind of trying to figure out how to use it. So, I mean, I've not got to
No,
FaceTime him yet.
In Missouri, they first gave them these little simple tablets, but now they got tablets where they can call from their cell or anywhere they're at. Pretty much, they can't go outside too far and call because they lose the Wi-Fi thing.
Yeah. Well,
But
I think that he could do FaceTime, but we've just not figured out how to do that yet. He hasn't figured out how to do that yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Actually, um, that 3 parts video. All right, I'll check that out. But yeah, I'm glad because I heard that all they had was paper and stuff, and
Yeah.
that's the only mail they had. These tablets are so much money better. You can do emails, you can do phone calls on. At least the ones in Missouri, they can, and
Yeah.
that would make it easier for you two talking. It also make it easier if he wants to contact anybody, or like talk to me or somebody else,
I'll have to tell him it's GTL. GTL is what it is.
Oh, it's
The G.
GTL.
Yeah.
I'm on Securus, but in Missouri, it's Securus. But
Okay.
I think all the southern states are GTL too, because I know not California, Florida is too.
Okay. But yeah, so we haven't quite figured it out yet. But when we figure it out, then we'll try to get something going.
Yeah, it'd be
So
nice to talk to
and
them.
and
And
two, if people want to go to it's Channel 10, Libby Cunningham. She's on YouTube. It's called this Gary Wayne the saga of Gary Wayne Sutton. She
I
has
think I've
stuff on
seen that.
she has stuff on there, and then we've got Libby Cunningham from Knoxville that's done stories on Gary, Ben Hall from Nashville, Dennis Ferrer out of Nashville. He does a great story as well. All these people do great stories on him. So if y'all want to try to look that up, it should come up when you put his name in on Google. Though all that should come up.
All of yeah, good. I wanted to get back to the his woodworking and leatherworking. I learned leatherworking in prison, and when I first got out, I started it back up as kind of a hobby. But now it's it's bringing me in income because people are buying some of my stuff. They were asking me to make belts and stuff for them, and I'd like to see some of his work sometime. Just as another
Oh,
leatherworker, I'd love to see some of his work.
oh, I've got it to show you. I'll send you some pictures. I mean,
Uh,
I've probably got truckloads and truckloads, and he does, and he'll think of stuff. Like right now, my son is into Harleys. Of course, he's got him a Harley and stuff. He makes, well, it's not really Harleys. He makes these motorcycles out of wood. Every little
oh
bitty
wow!
detail, every little detail. He does that. So he started doing like Harley emblems and making like key holders for them and little motorcycles and stuff. And it's just stuff that he's come up with, and he's done it on his own. I'll have to send you pictures and stuff of him. It's amazing what he can do. But before he got locked up, that's what he did. He remodeled houses. He built furniture. He did all that. So he
You
he
know,
he does.
somebody asked me to make a wallet with a kind of a Davidson theme, but they didn't want an exact Harley Davidson theme, and I said, "Why not?" They said, "Well, if you make a Harley Davidson logo, Harley Davidson could sue you." And I said, "Really?" And I
if you
didn't
were
know that.
if you were profiting off of it, they could. But I will tell you, with Gary, I can't get him to hardly sell anything.
He
So
should,
like,
man. He should.
yeah. So like, after I talk to him, he's gonna call me later. After I talk to him and tell him we did this live, you might as well go ahead and tell me what you're into, Harvey, because he's gonna make you something and send it to you.
Yeah.
Because he
Well,
will. Because that's what he does to show his appreciation. He will
well,
do that.
well,
So,
have him surprise me if he wants to, but
all
I'll just
right.
be. It's just I'm just going to enjoy looking at some of his work. I think that's going to be cool, and I'm sure people on here would like to see some of his work too. If you would like to post it sometime, but
Well, yeah, or I can send you the pictures and you can post it. I just don't know how to do all that stuff. That's why I've not done the lives and stuff like I should. Because
you should.
I don't know how to do it.
Uh, this like this StreamYard. You got a YouTube channel, right?
I
This
do, but I haven't been on it in a while.
this this StreamYard is real easy. You go to you go to Google and you type in StreamYard.com and it comes up, and then you click on it, and it basically tells you what to do, you know.
Okay.
And you connect it with your YouTube. I think it might connect automatically. I'm not sure, but either way, it streams from. We're on StreamYard, but we're also on YouTube. It's like both.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I had to. My problem is I don't actually have a place. Like I had to come down to the store to make sure I
Right.
got connection, and it's like iffy. Sometimes if the wind blows the wrong way, you don't have connection.
Well, I used to do all my stuff in my studio, but then people they liked it. I did one outside one time, and people liked it when I did it in the park. But here lately, every time I try to do it in my studio, there's just so much noise in there. You got the dogs running around, and so I came over to our thrift shop, and so I'm doing it in our little thrift shop here. But,
Okay. Maybe I need to send you some stuff for your thrift shop.
you can if you want to. We take donations.
All right. All right then.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. This is not for sale or anything. I tell you what, if Gary wants to do something for me, this is something he can do. It doesn't have to be by him. It can be by anybody in there. We're wanting photos or something, paintings, whatever, not to sell, but to hang on the walls in here. Because we have like 5% of everything we sell goes to a prison ministry.
Okay.
And so if he's interested in doing that,
I'll get him to do that. He'll paint you up something. See, he can do that too. He's got a talent that's crazy. It's a crazy talent that's just, and it's being wasted. I mean, because
we would really appreciate that. You know,
okay.
I could do something and say, "Oh, this is prison work," but I'm not in prison no more.
Okay.
We want something. We want something that's genuine from somebody in prison. You know.
Okay, I can make that happen. And Judy, I've got some stuff to send Judy that I've been sending her for a long time now. I still haven't got it together to send to her. Like he made some moccasins that Judy likes moccasins, so I've got her a pair of those to send to her.
Oh yeah, she want me to make her a pair.
Yeah, well, pair to send to her. It's just I've got everything in store. It's stored up. I've just got to get it dug out to send to her. Fishing
Junkie says that Gary sounds like a good guy, and could we please post some pictures of his work? We'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll do that for Caroline and Judy. That'll be
absolutely. He's got his work all over the. He's done things for people all over the United States. Some of his work's in Europe and Australia.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so he just does it for if people ask him, like, because he doesn't get the time that he needs that he would like to have to say, okay, I can make this and send it to you, because he doesn't know how long it will take him.
Right. Well, you know, at the Missouri State Penitentiary, when I was working on leather, in the visiting room, they had a place where you could display your stuff. You know, it was like a separate area, and people would go in there and buy your stuff. You know, people who worked on leather or paintings or whatever their hobby craft was. The visitors would go in there and buy things. And it was through that somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, my uncle in Texas wants you to make a saddle." And I said, "Okay." I don't want to ever do a saddle again. That was hard.
Oh gosh, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. I can't draw a stick person or even put two popsicle sticks together. So I don't know how you all do that. I mean, it amazes me the things that you all can make and come up with.
Well, you know, I always think I'm pretty good until I go like the Springfield leather company to buy supplies or something, and then I see all that work and I'm thinking, I'm not good at all.
Yeah. Springfield. We use Springfield for his leather. He does leather, he does paintings, and he does his woodwork. But his woodwork is what he loves the most
All right.
to do.
So you guys
Is
use
the
Springfield. You guys use the Springfield Leather Company.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
And you ought to go there.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance to go there, you ought to go there because they got in another room. You go in this other room and they got all displayed everywhere. All these crystals, like
Oh
purple
wow.
crystal rocks, huge. I mean, it's beautiful, and they're everywhere. And they got some that you can buy and everything, but they got just these huge displays of these huge crystal rocks. I forget what they call it. It starts with an A, but
Anthemous.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I like crystals.
But if you ever get a chance to go there, you need to go there and check that
I'll
out.
def I'll do that. I've got to start going places. Like we went to the beach for the 4th of July, and I mean, I'm like, I've got to do this more often.
Oh yeah, you need to get out and just take some time off once in a while. You know, I seen
Yeah.
I seen the videos. I mean, not the videos, the pictures you posted on Facebook about that, and it looked like you was having a good time. Somebody even said that's the first time I've seen you smile in a long time.
Yeah, yeah, but I had my grandbabies, so
Yeah,
it was good. I didn't have to worry about work. I mean, work stresses me out, and then I'm always. I mean, I sleep, eat everything, Gary, trying to figure out what can I do next, and then things we'll be doing things, and it looks like it's going to be good, and then boom. There's the blockage, and then I'm like, okay, well, I've got to do. What can I do next? I've got to get something going. So yeah, so that's my life right there. But yeah, we went to the beach and it was fun. It was fun. We had a good time.
it always like for Gary, it always seems like you're not doing enough, doesn't it?
Exactly. I feel
Yeah.
like yeah, and then of course when I get like Marsha Blackburn is our senator. I called her office and I'm like, I need to talk to you. I need so the thing that I get from them is, well, we don't get involved in legal matters. And I'm like, what do you? Who does then? What do any of y'all politicians do? Yeah,
Right, right.
and I felt
What
I
do you
felt
need to
bad.
do
Yeah,
then?
and I felt bad for the girl that I was talking to because she was only doing her job. So of course,
Yeah,
after
she
I'm
was
like, what do you all
secretary.
do then? Then I told her, I said, I know it's not you that you're doing your job. I said, but excuse my language. I said, but damn. I said, what is people supposed to do that need the help? You can't get it. And I told her too. I said, if you don't have money and can't line those pockets, then you're not going to do anything for anybody.
Right. What'd
So
she say?
yeah. So well, she was like, I understand the frustration. I had to apologize to her because I was loading off on her, and she's just the secretary. And I was like, I'm
Right.
sorry, but it's frustrating.
Oh, I've been wanting to ask you. This is a little off subject. Do you know where Rock Island is in Tennessee?
Rock Island. I know where. No, I don't think I do. What's
It's
it
pretty much
close
in the
to?
middle of the state. Uh, but when we came back from Florida, we went up to Rock Island, and it's beautiful there. But there was this small, like, I guess you call it like a restaurant, like cafe, like place. And that place made the best hamburgers, cheeseburgers I've ever eaten in my life. And I
I
told
like.
them when they brought me my plate and I was eating it, I stopped the waitress. I said, "Hey, who made these?" And she called him by name. She goes, "He's back there." I said, "Can I go talk to him?" So I went back there and told him. I said, "These are the best cheeseburgers I've ever eaten in my life."
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to get that address for me because I would love to have a good cheeseburger. A
Well, you
good
can't miss it
cheeseburger.
when you there's a campground there on and before you right when you turn to go on to the campgrounds, it's set up there, and it's not just for the locals; it's for the tourists and the campers and stuff too. But uh, it's a very local area. You know, it's just a small, like a small diner and stuff. But they got
Yeah.
another section where they sell like souvenir stuff. But it was very good. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to go there too, it's like right in the middle of the state.
You have to figure out where that's at. See, I live where we live. When I say we live at the bottom of the Smokies, we are Dolly Parton. We're where Dolly Parton grew up. We're Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, and
Yeah,
then Seymour.
you're in the eastern part of the state.
Yes, so we're already in like we're in the tourist area. And
Right.
there's a lot of good places to eat here, but it's just so crowded. You can't enjoy, the locals can't enjoy where they live.
That's like Eureka Springs, Arkansas. You know, we went down there. We didn't know they was having a bike fest. We went down to Eureka Springs. It's a very beautiful town, but they have everything there. They got tourists there, but they have these bike fests and Jeep fest. Oh, there's a Jeep fest that we end up in. Jeeps everywhere, and
We
the locals were complaining. They said it's not against you guys, but
yeah,
it's against all these Jeeps. You know, they take
it,
over our town. We can't do anything.
we have that here, and they call it Jeep Nation.
Yeah.
It's Jeep after Jeep after Jeep, and then you can't get anywhere. And then we also have we don't have them like we used to. They used to be fun. We used to have the rod runs, but they've
Right.
done so much stipulations on it now. People don't want to come. But rod run weekend used to be awful. You just might as well go home on Friday and don't come out until Monday.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do here, and I mean, and that's what everybody says. You've got so much to do in your backyard. Why are you going to the beach? I said, well, because I live in the mountains. I'm ready to go to the beach. Just like
Ready to
I
go
guess
to
the beach. Yeah, that's like the beach people. They live at the beach. They're ready to come to the mountains.
right, and it's like people who go visit Europe, and they visit all these historic places. The people who live there, they're tired of seeing it. They see it every day. You
Yeah,
know.
and it wouldn't be so bad, but we have a lot of people that come here and they're just rude.
Same here
You know,
in this little
yeah,
town. We got not only a lake here, but we also got Lucas Oil Speedway, and so the people from out of town that come here, this little town has like 200 some people, but on the weekends when they have the races, it'll be like 8 or 10,000 of them. They just swamp
right.
us.
Yeah. And then everybody's learned the back roads too. So you can't
Yeah.
just jump on the back road and get where you want to be. And so we're like an hour, and plus we're just like an hour from Bristol Motor Speedway. So
Right.
the people that come in for the speedway, they stay here and just drive to the speedway, so we've got that too.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So but yeah.
I,
But no,
I
I
think,
really appreciate.
yeah, I
Go ahead.
just going to say, I think I'm going to close this live, and hopefully we can do this next Wednesday, and hopefully you can
Okay.
have more people prepared.
Yeah, I'll get everybody. I'll just do a little. I'll get everybody on it and tell them that they better be on here at 7 o'clock next Wednesday. Is 7 o'clock good?
Yeah, 7 o'clock's good. Yeah,
Okay,
sounds
and
good.
I'll do that. But I appreciate you, and Gary, I know he's going to tell you thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell
You're
you. I
very
know he is.
welcome, and I've been wanting, like I said, I've been wanting to do this for a while. It's just that either we forget or one of us
Yeah,
forgets, or
and to go all the time. Like I said, I work my 40 hours a week, and if I'm not at work or I'm not sleeping, and usually in my sleep, I'm trying to work on this stuff for Gary. So that's
it's
what I do. It's all the time,
the
constantly.
same thing here. I'm either working for my neighbor, my wife has me doing something, or somebody's having me make a belt or something for them. So I'm always busy. So, and then I'm
Yeah,
doing the YouTube videos too. So
yeah. And then I
I
go to
hardly have time
Nashville
to sit
every
down.
weekend. Yeah, and then I
Huh?
drive to Nashville every week. And then I'm at
Yeah.
Nashville every weekend. So yeah,
And that's a
it's
long drive because you're driving pretty much from the eastern state part of the state all the way to the western part.
yeah, it's 3 hours and 10 minutes one way.
So what do you say? A couple 100 miles?
I think it's like 200 and right at 243 miles, maybe something like that. Right at it. So either I drive down in the morning, visit him, and come back, or I'll go down the night before because the prison has a little house there that
Yeah.
if you come and see anybody in the prison, you can stay there, and it's really nice. So
I
because
think
I
also
can't.
what I'm going to do is after we get all these interviews done on these lives, I'm going to like put pieces together and make like a video out of them too, you
Okay.
know?
Okay. And two, I guess we need to figure out what we're going to talk about because, like I said, there's so much that you can go here and then you get confused because it needs to be here and then you go through all this to there. So I guess whatever we want to talk about, I'll make sure we try to stay just on that subject.
Right, right. Well, you can, between now and next Wednesday, you can kind of put together what you want to say, you know?
Okay. All right. I mean, I don't know. I guess we should just start with the first lie, I guess. How they
Yeah,
even got the how they even got the arrest warrant.
right. All right,
And
JK. Um, yeah, just start, just figure out where you want to start and get it all together, your thoughts and everything together, and it'll be much easier next Wednesday, I think.
okay. We'll just
All
start
right.
from the beginning.
Yeah, sounds good.
All
All right.
right. All right.
You
Thank
have a
you.
good, yeah, you're welcome, and you have
All
a
right.
good evening.
You too. Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right. Bye.